Hello and welcome back to another movie review. And here today I'm going to be hopefully starting a weekly, starting back up with my weekly movie reviews. But today, and I think from now on, hopefully from now on Fridays, as long as I can manage it, I want to do Netflix original shows, and eventually we'll come up with a cool name. Probably, Friday Flicks is a terrible name, but something like that. We'll get a graphics. You know how it goes. But anyway, let's start off with the Outlaw King. This is a spoiler review, so definitely consider yourselves warned on all things spoilers for this movie. And if I would love to hear your guys' opinions on the movie, definitely tell me that in the comment section down below. Obviously, be kind. You just be decent humans, and let's have a fun conversation about it. With that being said, let's get into the review. So let's talk about The Outlaw King. Spoilers from now on. I believe that every single character who has, more than one line or one scene in the movie is acted very well by everyone throughout the cast. Chris Pine is obviously the leading man, and he does, for the most part, carry it. It's not all on his shoulders. It's on him. It's on Billy Howell as Edward, the Prince Edward, not the King, and then it's on Florence. Florence P. We'll go with that. Florence P. It's on them three, for the most part, because it's obviously Robert the Bruce, it's Prince Edward, and then it's Robert's wife, Elizabeth. So it's mostly on them three, but also Stephen Delane. He also does a very good job as the King Edward. He's very menacing. He's even though he doesn't fight or anything, it's like, yeah, that's a bad dude. But yeah, the acting from top to bottom I think is great, and the characters from top to bottom are, they're very well done as far as writing of each character. And the bad guys aren't just your mustache twirling bad guys. That's what I like about it. Yes, they are bad. They're clearly bad. They want to pretty much enslave the Scottish population, take all their taxes, all the good Robin Hood stuff. So the villainous characters are definitely evil, and they attack in the middle of the night when Robert's men aren't ready. So clearly have not the greatest morals in the world, but you can understand it because they're the villains, and they're not just mustache twirling villains, because you actually get some dimensions to the characters. Billy Howell does a really good job of giving Prince Edward, dimensions to his characters, where he can be very angry in one scene, but in the same scene also show doubt of what he's doing, and doubting himself, and doubting what he's doing to the country, doubting whether or not it is good, right? You can definitely see that on his face, and it's very well acted. I think the one, in my opinion, who stands out is Aaron Taylor Johnson. I wasn't expecting it, but dude is psycho. Dude is psycho in this movie, which is great. He plays the character absolutely brilliantly. Just he's kind of he's more than everybody else, because most of everybody else you see are nobles, right? They're people who are quote unquote highborn or whatever, but his character is not. He's just kind of this almost barbaric in the way that he fights, in the way that he conducts himself, because it's just bro, he does not take a chill pill at any point. But it makes sense. You're fighting for your country. Why would you chill when you're fighting, when you're trying to get the land that you've lived on back, right? I think that his character at least is very funny at some points, when he's dating the Tony Curran's daughter in the movie. Tony Curran's character's daughter. Aaron Taylor Johnson is dating Tony Curtin's character's daughter, and their dynamic because of that is really funny. Just like in the middle of this entire war, this war that could change the changes the battle, is trying to win back the world that we see, the world that we want to win back. You have this really cool father son almost dynamic where it's like the father doesn't really want the Aaron Taylor Johnson's character to date his daughter, but he's like, it's okay. It's okay. In times of war, you gotta have something more than land to fight for, right? So, in that sense, I think that every single character in the movie who is in there for more than one line or one scene, I think they've all been very well fleshed out. They all seem very real. Even the villainous characters, who are kind of they're definitely evil, but they're not just evil for they're not the terrible mustache twirling villains. But the story in and of itself, the story is a historical story, obviously. I did not know that Robert the Bruce actually won. I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know that he got Scotland back. Apparently, at the end of this movie, they talk about he got Well, he didn't get Scotland back. He was fighting for it, and then like one of his descendants got Scotland back. Or no, one of his descendants became king of both England and Scotland. So anyway, he got Scotland back. I didn't know that. I was expecting a tragic ending, William Wallace style. They talk about William Wallace. It's pretty good. I was expecting Braveheart ending, freedom, dying, terrible, terrible tragedy at the end here. But for once, the Scottish did it. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, wow, okay, because to be honest with you, I totally thought that they were gonna lose. Even like when they're camping in the middle of the night, and then the English like attack them in the middle of the night, I was like, dude, that's like War 101. Why don't you have scout? Like I was criticizing them, and at the same time I was like, no wonder you guys don't win this. But at the end they win it. So I was wrong. They're good. It's all good. Hooray for the Scottish people. Yeah, the story's historical story. It's very good in that it's not just like a rise to power and then we take back Scotland, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's a rise to power, but then the English get his wife and kids, and so it's like, oh, ouch, it's there's victories and there's defeats, and it makes for a good dynamic between the story, because it's like, are they gonna get him back? Are they gonna kill him? Are the English gonna kill him? It's like it's very good. Kept me at least on the edge of my seat in that sense, where it was like I genuinely was concerned for them and what was going to happen to the women. Like, I was like, okay, Bruce is probably dead, but you can't just go kill some dude's daughter, right? Sins of the father doesn't apply, right? But anyway, it's okay. The Scottish won. All is well with the world. The last thing I want to talk about is the sets. You guys, like I said previously, they spent a ton of money on the sets, okay? Or not the sets, but the locations, and they spent a ton of money on the movie in general. But these sets, you guys, are they're really good. Like, they don't just, have castles off in the background. They go into the castles. They sack they burn down the castles. There's some great set pieces in this, especially the final battle. It could have been very shaky cam, a lot of cuts, not understanding what's going on in the battle, who's winning, who's losing. They did a very good job of keeping it distinguished, like, hey, this is what's happening, this is how the English are attacking, this is how the Scottish are are attacking, and then this is how the English are going to flank, and then the Scottish have have a security measure for flanks, and it was very well shot and very well set up in the final battle, where I was never confused as to who was on which side was winning, and pretty much, it didn't seem like they just were like, you know what, we'll make a bunch of cuts and we'll make it look like the one side is winning. You know what I'm saying? But like, they did a really good job of setting up that last battle, not only with the visuals but like the audio. Man, the audio is like, oof. Like some of those sounds is just like, ooh, cringe. Never want to hear those sounds in real life. But yeah, they obviously spent a lot of money, and I think it paid off because the movie visually it looks great between all the locations, the sets, and the costuming too. The costuming, you guys, look just spot on. Way to go, Netflix. Anyway, I want to introduce you guys to someone who is considering themselves to be a regular on the show, and yeah, he's gonna get himself a few minutes. I made sure, because this guy can take a lot of time, but I'm gonna give him a couple minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll see what he has to say, because you know what, you gotta get some different opinions in it here. And if you guys have an opinion on his opinions, definitely tell me that in the comment section down below. Well, here you go. Start the timer! Okay, let me tell you about this movie, Outlaw King. This movie, Outlaw King, are you kidding me? Why do you not have scouts in the middle of the night? It's War 101. You put scouts out so you don't get barraged with fiery arrows in the middle of the night. You don't hear these guys coming? Maybe because nobody's listening. You guys shouldn't be drinking all the time. I understand. You gotta get drunk because you're gonna go die the next day. But you were gonna set up a great fight between Pine and Spruell, that guy. They were gonna have a one-on-one fight. It would have been really cool. And then the English were just like, you know what? Let's see if they got scouts out there. Find out there are no scouts. Let's just go burn them down. It's like Scottish people. No wonder you guys lost so many wars. You just gotta put a scout out there and have the scout just yell out, "Hey, their entire army is getting ready to burn us with fire." That's all you gotta do. And seriously, the first place the English are gonna look for you women are in the castles. Why you put them in a castle? Take notes from Game of Thrones. What did they do to Cripple Kid? I forget his name. What they sent him up above the wall. They were like, nah, this guy can't be in no castle, because that's where the bad guys look. If you don't want your women caught, don't send them to a castle. Send them to the middle of nowhere. Come on, you guys. Scottish, you gotta think. These not nowadays Scottish people back then, 14th century Scottish. You guys gotta think. Where are they gonna look? Are they gonna shoot fiery arrows at me? Yeah, maybe I should put a scout out there. There's a reason you lost so many of those uprisings, because you guys just were drinking too much. Seriously. You're a scout. Don't put your women in castles. It's the first place they look. Is my time up? My time's up. Anyway, yeah, just, think. Put a scout out there. I'm sorry. Well, I hope you guys found that an interesting opinion. He didn't really say much about the actual movie as far as what was good about it. He mostly ranted, but that's just kind of what he does. You really have to get to know him to understand that he he can bash any movie. I've seen him go off on The Godfather, so don't feel like he's just because he finds something wrong with the movie doesn't mean that it's not a good movie. Doesn't mean that he doesn't think it's a good movie. He has a strong opinion, and yeah, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this movie. I think it's pretty good. I would say that it's definitely worth the watch. It's about 2 hours and 17 minutes, and things happen. I was surprised at how fast they got the story started. Homeboy was like 10 minutes into it. He was like, you know what? Let's fight. Yeah, but it was a good movie. It was a good movie. I think that. What do you think? Should we have my friend on again? We'll have him on next time. But yeah, for now, tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Love to hear them. And yeah, tell me what you thought of Outlaw King. I think on a scale of 1 to some nice round number, I would give it like a good 7.5. I think at least I've only seen it once, right? You can't just call something the greatest thing on the first time you've seen it. I've seen it once. I thought it was really, really solid. I thought the characters were all very good, very well fleshed out. Not more nuanced than I was expecting from some of them. I thought the story was cool. It totally threw me for a loop that they won, which is good on you, history. And yeah, the setting, you guys, ton of money spent on costumes, locations, castles. They burnt down castles, bro. They spit in wells. You know how old that well was there? Probably not that old. Anyway, tell me your thoughts. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.